Hello everyone and welcome back to Every Other Saturday. In tonight's video we're going to discuss the match against Benfica, 2-2 draw, and how many emotions did you go through in that match. We love a challenge, don't we?
Every other Saturday's my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wander down the Copeland.
So let's get fired straight into the game. So as always, if you're new round about here, consider giving us a wee like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you a thing and it helps your channel grow and get out to as many people as possible. Using that word again, it was emotional. So what did we have in that game? We had a 2-2 draw against Benfica. We had the chance to qualify for the last 32 with games to spare. We had controversy in the match. We had a mental last 10 minutes. Let's not be kidded, guys. They like to do it the hard way. But let's dive into that first half. As predicted, Benfica came right out the starting block as quick as they could, trying to get a grasp on the game, trying to at least get an early goal, it looked like anyway. They were quick, they were decisive in their passing, and you knew that they were onto a game. They were set up to do it quick, and they did. The pace that they played through the midfield, getting to the strikers, was obvious that was their game plan. Now we did match that, of course. We came out strong. We knew that what we had to do. We played tight, we played decisive, and we kept our shape so well for the most part. But we kept that shape well, and the discipline was quite clear to see. And it didn't take long before we got that first goal. Scotty Arfield stepping up with a well-placed volley. Now that volley was not as easy as it was to score as it looked, because keeping that ball down and keeping it controlled after the ball ricocheted twice, it was easier to put that ball over the net, and he kept it in. So well done Scotty Arfield for the 1-0. It was a hard fought first half, and there was no denying that it was going to be that way. I think was all Bears, we knew that was going to be the case. Now when Benfica were on the ball, you could see the intent was always there. The movement from back to front, it was always quick, it was always snappy. As I say, to be expected from a team like Benfica. But we matched it. We did have that control. It was very, very 50-50. I'm not going to lie, in the overall of the first half, I'm going to give the performing winner to Rangers. There's no two ways about that. We did win that first half, but it was close because Benfica did have everything going forward that they would need to try and win this match as quick as possible. In saying that though, our defence was strong enough to make sure when they did break through that we had the ability to get the ball either won back and cleared or played through. There was so many balls played back out to those wing backs, and I think it was McCoist at half time described just how important those wing backs are to the attacking play. You can see the minute Goldsching, or in this instance it was Balogun, getting that ball, playing it out to those wing backs, and they just make their way forward with such convincing runs. Either a ball played back inside or getting right up and a ball whipped in. There was a few wayward crosses today from Tavernier, but again, I've said it before in videos, his crossing is just sublime. And Barisic again as well, making his way up and getting it in. But it was a great first half to watch. It was a good solid game from both teams. You could see that the intent was there from both of them, with both teams keeping their discipline so well. I think that's why I'm giving it to Rangers on the edge of the first half, because the discipline and the shape and the way we played with the ball at our feet and without the ball, the credit has to go to the team there, because they definitely played with intent. Moving on to the second half now, again, straight out, intensity, high level, let's get the ball, let's get it in the net. Both teams seemed to be like that. Benfica looked again as if they were going to get that goal. They both had their chances to score, but the next thing that came up was a little bit of controversy. The ball coming through on the right hand side, Tavernier working his way up and whipping that ball in. I say Tavernier, I apologise, it was Roof playing that ball in, and the ball straight off the hands of the defender. Now any game with VAR, that's a penalty all day long. Why it's not a penalty, I don't know. That linesman was close enough to see that. You can see that after it as well, he held his hands up as if, oh, my hands are actually in pain. So the ball struck him on the hand, out with his body shape. So any game, any instance, that's a penalty. Why it wasn't a penalty, we'll never know, because we're not going to get a defining aspect from that. The referee looked as if he could see it as well, but again, no penalty there. Rangers kept piling on the pressure though, and we did manage to knock the door a few times, and the ball did land at Kamar's Roof's feet, and boom, top bag, lovely, outside the box, curling effort right into the top bag. 2-0 Rangers, and it's looking like it's going to be a lovely win. Oh, how the tides can turn. As it is, Rangers, we like to do things the hard way, so losing a wee bit of concentration in the last kind of quarter here. It's annoying, but we have to discuss it. It's getting a bit edgy at this time, so Benfica are starting to make their way through. The passes they're playing are quick and they're decisive and they're getting straight into feet. And with those quick and decisive passes, it was like ping pong. It was just far too fast. The ball was coming in, touch, 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 out of nowhere. The ball's played and the ball hits Tavernier in the leg and it's in the net. He was defenceless. I'm not going to put anyone at blame for that. The play up to the goal was fantastic. All it actually needed was a proper finish from a Benfica player and it would have been a fantastic goal. But again, it went in off at the Tav's leg and there's not much he can do. So that sets us up for the shaky last 10 minutes. Benfica sticking to what they were doing. Quick, decisive passes, making their way through. Unfortunately, again, the ball works its way through. Nothing anybody could have done. I'm going to be honest. I will say Shagger might have been able to get a hand to the ball. Maybe I'm just being a bit critical. Ball works its way through. Ball's hit. Fair amount of pace in the middle of the box. Straight in the top of the net. 2 each. And again, we lose a 2-goal lead against Benfica. So we're in the last 5 minutes of the game. There's a bit of time wasting going on in our box. Players lying down and stuff like that. To be expected. It's always going to happen. Ball makes its way back up to the other side. Tav gets brought down. In my eyes, again, should have been a free kick, but what we're going to do, it's not like it's a penalty and there's a chance of scoring. So, unfortunately, that was it. Final whistle, 2 each. Lost the 2-goal lead again. Sitting here with a deflated expression, I know, but for the second time of asking, we've played Benfica, we've been up with a 2-goal advantage and we've lost it. It's poor concentration. Now, I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to get too angry and too overly critical of the team because at the end of the day, we are still undefeated, so we can't sit here and think to ourselves that the season's away now. But it's still disheartening to turn around and see such a game as that and have our hopes just crashed in the last 15 minutes with a couple of silly defensive mistakes. Now I know for a fact Gerrard is going to be absolutely raging at that, and he will say that in his after match interview. I haven't watched it yet. I've just came straight on to get the video on. But again, look at the season we're having. We're still at the top of the league. We're 11 points clear. We have 8 points out of 12 now. So, I mean, are we really doing that bad? No. Am I allowed to be deflated? Yes, because we had the game in our own hands and we let it go again. Now, a mate of mine was texting me through the game and he said once the first goal went in that it was going to be a test of our nerves. And yeah, it just shows you. I don't say so much nerves, but it just shows our concentration was all down at that last 5 minutes. So annoying. One major piece of criticism I'm going to have is ultimately the substitute decisions or the lack of. I'm a guy, I don't know if it's football manager, playing games, or playing football myself. A substitute is a necessity in a game. Yes, there's times you can go and you don't need to make a substitution. But see at that, fill the midfield, block the defence, get extra guys on the part that we don't need. We were up. All we needed to do was hold on to the lead, and that was us. It's majorly overly critical, I know, but I'm allowed to be overly critical because we had it in our own hands. Why not make the substitute, Gerrard? I am Steven Gerrard's #1 fan. It's very difficult for me to have an opinion against him. It really is. But make a substitution, and at the right time. It needed to happen. It didn't happen. Is it the reason we lost the game? Maybe. Is it the players in the park? I can't really fault their overall performance. They do. Every time they put the jersey on, we think they're going to win again. It's all we can ask for, Bears. It really is. But in all honesty, we're going to need to see in situations like that, we need to see the manager being proactive, getting substitutes on the park. He goes on about player management all the time and how important it is to make sure we're on top of these players and we're managing them the correct way. That's part of that. Get the player off. Bring Morelos off. Bring Roof off. He'd done his bit. Bring Kent off. One of them. And get a midfielder on. Block that midfield. You could see the jinky runs that they were doing through. The touches that they had. Again, yes, I'm being overly critical, but we need the good and the bad. It's not all roses. There is always improvement to be made. And tonight, we could have qualified for the last 32 with 2 games to play and 18 million quid in our bank. There you go. There's some brass tacks numbers. Liège scored at the last kick of the ball, granted, but that was at the start of the game. If Rangers win and Liège win, that guarantees qualification. It didn't happen. We're almost there. As our mate says, famous last words. But we'll see. All in all, with a 2-each draw, yes, well, I'm disappointed, but again, it's a 2-each draw against Benfica. We still are undefeated. We're almost qualified into the last 32. We're still very, very comfortable in the domestic front. And yes, we let the 2 goals slip, but the characteristics of both games were almost identical, and that's my annoying part. I'm still happy. I'll probably be annoyed for another 15 minutes, but yes, I'm happy. But it is all down to concentration. It's not down to a lacklustre performance. It's not down to players not turning up. It's not down to management completely ruining the game. Yes, he could have made substitutions. Yes, we could have concentrated a bit more. But we are still undefeated. We are still sitting top of that league. And I believe we're still going to qualify for the last 32. Be it this week or be it the next game. And to be fair, result aside, I will give the boys a pass mark on today's game. Because every single one of them, yes, we had one lapse in concentration, but every single one of them played with their heart on their sleeve. You can see that the games mean something to this team, from the goalkeeper to Morelos. And as much as he does look as if he does want away at times, you can tell he wants to score in European nights. And again, it's another night it goes by without him with a ball in the net. How many of these videos am I going to make that I'm going to tell you that Morelos hasn't scored and it's annoying me, and it's probably going to be annoying him? Now, McCoist again mentioned at half time that he went off in the last game petulant and wanted to have scored. Where is this drive to get him with these goals? But again, I digress on to Morelos again. But we're still undefeated. We have a good chance of qualifying, and I'm going to be happy. We will all sit here tomorrow and we'll analyse this game completely differently. We'll take our emotions away from tonight and we'll look at the game as a whole and look at the fact that Rangers just drew 2 each at home with Benfica, and the last game we drew 3 each away. It's still fantastic. I mean, was it no a couple of seasons ago we get put out by Progress? My point's made. Once again, guys, thanks again for joining us this evening. Keep going with the smashing the like and the subscribe button for me, guys. As I said in the last video, trying to use my wee target to get to the end of the year, end of December, and try and hit 50 subscribers. It's not too big of an achievement to get, I know, but it'll be a big one for myself. So get this shared all over social media, guys. Make sure the word gets out, and thanks again. This has been every other Saturday, and I'll see you on the next one.